Hey guys, Brian and Brandi Hamm here with Hammer Concepts and Designs. We're both owners of the company and we have some really exciting news that we want to share with you guys. It's been a long time coming and we have gotten to the point of growth where we had to build a new building. So we have broke ground on that and we wanted to talk through some of the map that we followed from where we were to where we are now to where we're going. So the people that follow us and our customer base and friends can know what we're doing now and what we're going to be doing into the future.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just start with our humble beginning. We started in 2020 in our home garage. Um, I slowly ran out of a place to park as our business grew, but it began with all of us just pitching in as a family and doing the work that needed to be done day in and day out.
Yeah, I mean, think back on those times. It was exciting and it was stressful. We battled
Mhm.
for a couple years with becoming a business. Again, for those that don't know my past, I'm still currently in the Army until January. I'll be retired, and having that commitment, being a helicopter pilot, that was my primary commitment. We were really nervous to start a business, but the hobby aspect quickly ran out, and we realized that we had to become a legitimate business because of the amount of volume that we had started to do and the interest that we had gotten. It's starting in our home garage. We were in a neighborhood with a HOA, and it was very strict HOA, so we had to do things a little different. We were in that house home garage for about a year and a half after we had first opened. So we opened the business in May and we carried through that first year of 2020, and then into 2021 was our first full year in that place. And we started off with building our e-commerce website. It took about 6 months before we took it live. So I learned the Shopify ways and built it, built our parts list up, and we finally had launched it. Once we launched it, we get an order like maybe once a week or twice a week, and it was just like really exciting to get an order. But boy, have times changed.
Yeah.
You know, we the shop itself was one bay that was actually about a half a bay, and there wasn't much room to work. I got tired of knocking my knees and shins on everything, and we got really crafty and creative on how we utilized the space. I don't think we parked in the garage for a year and a half. We
At
put up some
least.
shelves. Yeah, we went to Sam's Club, got some shelves, and started filling them up with product.
Mm.
And it got to the point where we didn't have anywhere to work, so we used the kitchen table, and we would get the kids out and put nuts on bolts and bolts in parts and prepackage, and that's our humble beginnings,
Mhm.
our roots.
Yeah. And then we kind of got to the realization that, it was more than we could manage, just us, and we really needed to start investing in more people to help us. And so we realized that we had kind of outgrown kind of this home garage space for our shop and headquarters, and we needed to look for a building. And so that was um, quite the experience and journey as well.
Yeah, I mean that second year that we were in the home garage, full-fledged business, customer base was ramping up, demand was ramping up. I was the one doing the work, and when I would walk into the shop, I was like, man, the only way anything's gonna get done around here is if I do it. So again, it was our home garage attached. The kids' bedrooms were above the garage, so in the evenings when I got off my Army job, I would buff parts, clean parts that required a lot of noise with the grinder, and prep them out for welding. I get up early in the morning and weld before I would go to work, and that system worked for several months of the time that we were there. But we did realize through the workload that it was unsustainable, and it's difficult when you're in a neighborhood with a HOA and you're in your home. You can't really have employees. So our next step for us was hiring employees.
Mm-hmm.
So through my relationship with Reno, our powder coater, we used Reno for several years before he wound up closing his business. He had hired Noah. Noah's been with us the longest, and through the closing of the powder coat shop, I asked Noah if he wanted to come here and work, and Noah was our first employee. But before we get to the employees and where we're at now, we had to find a place, and that was challenging.
Yeah, we um, looked for land. We looked for, we priced out to build a building. We looked for existing buildings, and nothing really was coming to fruition for one reason or the other. We never really found the right place. And so uh, one day we had just kind of gotten at the end of a process of an existing building that needed a lot of work. And we were disappointed because, that didn't work out. And just out of the blue, Brian got a notification that a house had come back on the market, and he sent it to me, not really thinking anything of it. And I looked at it, and for whatever reason, I thought, well, it checks all the boxes. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not what we would normally choose, but it does actually meet all the parameters for what we need. And so we scheduled to go and look at it. And so this place that we're at now is actually kind of how we were able to kind of get to the next step in having enough space to be able to accommodate the growth that we had experienced for the first couple of years of having the business.
Yeah, and it's the move process was challenging, but this place in itself, the way that we looked at it was, like she said, it was to get us to the next level. It's been transitional, and we have quickly outgrown it, but it has been great for what we have done. And I mean, this is the facility right here that we're in now.
Yeah.
Um,
We were able
yeah,
to hire, as he said before, we hired Noah first, and Jacob, and now we have, we went from 1, 2 employees to now we have 5 uh, employees and continuing to grow.
yeah, and with this facility, when we moved here, the building that we're in and occupying as the business it was a shell, and we had to have it built out. So um, we got with a contractor. We were able to negotiate with the prior owner of the home that we took early occupancy of this building before we closed. It was about a month before, and we were able to start work. It was fall time frame. It was late summer going into fall, so we knew that we had to have the building done before winter set in, but they got behind schedule and that didn't happen. So we wound up moving out of our home into this facility before it was built out. So we had to move all the inventory, shelves, everything. Really, there was really no method to the mayhem when we moved. It was just organized chaos. And when we got everything in this building and sorted out, the crazy thing was it was Black Friday time frame. So, like we didn't know where any of our inventory was at on shelves because we didn't take it down and put it up in the same order that it was. So, that Black Friday, when I look back, it was very, very humbling time for us. There was no heat, no light in this building. So we had headlamps and our Milwaukee lights walking around looking for stuff to fulfill orders. We set up a temporary packing station, and you could see your breath with every time you take a breath because it was cold. So we tried to get a little heat in here with a space heater, but we managed and we survived, and we came out the backside stronger. So we got the place built out, and Noah had been on board with us. He was our first employee. Then came along Jacob, and that fulfilled the fabrication shop assistant roles for us. And I was able to start to take more of a back seat to the fabrication aspects of the business and focus on the front side and growth of the business.
Yeah, and then we added kind of the front side too, yeah, our sales and operations with David, and then order fulfillment and inventory management with crews. One thing that's not changed though is Brian and I and the kids, we're still heavily involved in the business and working to, even this weekend, the kids will be, prepackaging some parts and things like that. So still very much that family business kind of DNA to what we do here. It's important to us.
Yeah, and the space here, although we're residential, the little slice of pie where this building occupy is deemed commercial, but there's no ability to expand. So really, we knew once we got to the point of growth where we're at now, we would be forced to have to either move, find a building, or build a building. Backing up a little bit, we were fortunate around COVID timeframe to find a piece of commercial property, and we purchased it up as soon as we could. The prior owners were somewhat reluctant to sell, but they wound up selling it to us, and we have sat on it since. Because as the old saying goes, in our local area, they don't make any more land. So we knew when the opportunity presented itself, we had to capitalize on it, and that's what we did. So our commercial lot is a 1 acre lot in a light industrial area, so it's zone light industrial, and we put up the biggest building we could to the setbacks on that piece of property, so with hopes that we could prolong our tenure there before we need to expand again. So I guess we can talk details of the new building.
Yeah, so we're really excited. It's quite the jump. We have really been patient in the process and just waited for the right time and team in order to take these next steps. But it's not much, it doesn't feel like much of a step, does it? It's more like a leap.
Yeah, it is, and the wild thing about it is I feel that we wouldn't be where we're at today if God didn't allow us to steward the things that we steward. And we just continue to grow this thing, and it snowballs bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm not a businessman by any means, never been educated for it, but I've learned business by doing it, and Brandi is the same. So we have gotten wise through experience, both good and bad, and we attribute our success to the glory of God. So with that said, this place, we've quickly outgrown it. So this building we're in is 2,800 square feet, 1,300 square feet for the shop, and then the rest is inventory area, and the inventory area has also grown and consumed what we have used as the office. The space we're in here is on the second floor, kind of a loft style area. We have a break room right next to us here, and this is what we use as the conference room. So the guys are really excited about the opportunity for expansion. There's times that we have to store things in our trailers. We have a couple enclosed trailers outside, so we have to constantly go out there and get stuff and bring it back in. But we're not going to have to worry about that at the new building. So, talking about the stewarding aspects of things, we were looking at how we can diversify our business. And what diversification looked like for us was we ship stuff all over the world. However, we don't really have a commercial storefront here. Once in a while, we have people local that come in and pick things up, local racers and friends that need stuff from us, and they come get it. But we rarely have traffic or common foot traffic coming through the door. So we said to each other, we're going to call this place home. I'm retiring. We're staying here. We've homesteaded. Our kids have grown up here their entire lives. How do we give back to the local community? Yeah. So if you want to talk about a couple things with that and what that looks like for us.
Yeah. So we, kind of have already established, this racing performance parts and tooling. Primarily that has all been, as Brian said, online through our web store. And so as we were thinking about that, we were like, okay, well, how can we both expand and grow internally with what we already have existing, while also supporting our local economy and partnering with other people in our community. And so some of the things that we kind of looked at for bringing in-house or like sourcing ourselves things that we currently are outsourcing. And so one of those things was our laser cut parts. A lot of our performance parts are laser cuts. So we looked at bringing in the laser and press brake operations, and then also we get a lot of requests for like for example the chassis tables. A lot of times people wanted those powder coated. One of the things that's really popular is rear end housings being powder coated, and this piece of art. So we thought, well, powder coat would also be a area where we could bring that in and do that for what's already existing with our racing performance parts and tooling, but also kind of open that up to support the local economy as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that we have learned early on is, profitability. So we can't stay in business if we don't make money. So we have to be good stewards of that money. And what we have done to this point is we just kept reinvest until where we could actually afford a new facility. And we realized that a lot of the things that we outsource are our biggest slices of the pie when it comes to our annual spend. So, there's challenges when you outsource things. I would say that we have very good vendors that we use now that we've established really good relationships with, and we'll continue to have those relationships going forward. But with that, there's some of the issues with it is traveling to and from to pick things up, the coordination aspects of sending files with the computer, and the delays in time trying to meet customer timelines. Once in a while, we have quality control issues. Same thing with powder coat, the same logistical problems. So if we could bring those systems and processes in-house that we outsource the biggest slice of our pie for, that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
But what we also realized is this area where we're at is, it lacks a job shop for laser press brake work. And this place is booming for growth. It's one of the 5 fastest growing areas in the country for several years now. So we wanted to provide an opportunity to the local community to open up our machines when they're not cutting HC&D parts, bending HC&D parts, and powder coating to the local community.
Yeah. Yeah. So being more efficient and having a faster turnaround and, all of those things, and just, preparing for even more growth, really.
Yeah, and it's just wild. We're so blessed to be where we're at today. And, when we get, we give back, and that's kind of our model. So becoming more profitable, we're not going to put that money in our pockets. We're going to try and get our prices to a more economical means. We're offering better tiers for dealer discounts. We're trying to give back by becoming more efficient in the business.
Yeah. The exciting thing is that, this facility, even though we, really desperately need it for where we are now, it's going to set us up for where we're headed as well.
Yeah. Do you want to talk details of the building? Let's talk it.
Sure.
All right. So the building, I gave the basic footprint of what I wanted to our builder. He worked with architect and engineer to develop it out into exactly what we wanted it to be. And what the building looks like, the footprint, the biggest building we could get on the lot to the setbacks was a footprint of 17,000 square feet. And a portion of that has 4,500 square feet of mezzanine above it. So it'll have a second story, total of 21,500 square feet. And, when you talk with the builder, he's like, I don't think we could get any more on here if we tried, and there's going to be some challenges with getting the HVAC units and stuff in place on the back side of the building because of tree lines and things like that, but we'll manage. So we wanted to make sure that we could get as much building on that property as we could to allow us the max amount of time for growth before we need to expand. So the way the building's gonna be laid out is I look at the building from here forward. Left-hand side will be our office area. That'll be kind of the administrative area, inventory, packing area. We're gonna have a 600 square foot showroom, couple offices, bathroom, and then our packing station and everyday inventory will be on the main floor. Above that will be a flex space of 600 square feet. We'll have a conference room, a break room, another bathroom upstairs, and then about 3,000 square feet of overflow inventory space. That space will have an industrial 3,000-pound elevator that goes from the first floor to the second floor to make sure that we have the ability to get a somewhat heavy pallet with pallet jack from one floor to the second floor. Next to that, so from left to right, will be a 5,000 square foot shop. We're going to equip this shop with the latest and greatest and best tools. Obviously, we have the fabricators to do great work. And I tell these guys all the time, if you got good tools, you can do good work. So we provide them that opportunity, and we plan to take what we're already doing to the next level in that area. Next to that's a 6,000 square feet CNC shop. We're gonna have a laser, sheet laser, 12 kilowatt sheet laser, a 6 kilowatt tube laser, and a 160 ton 10-foot press brake. So that will kick off our the first area that we wanted to bring in house, and really next phase for that is potentially CNC lace and mills. That's the next slice of the pie that we want to bring in house. And then finally, on the far right hand side will be a 3,000 square foot powder coat facility. We'll have a blast booth, oven, and powder coat booth that is large enough to do a race car chassis. So that's our goal there, to make sure that we can do everything that HC&D needs all in one place. So, now that we've talked through the building and what that looks like for us, the areas of growth, where we've been, where we are now to where we're going, we really want to say thank you to you all. We wouldn't be where we're at today if it weren't for you supporting us, believing in us, giving us sometimes harsh criticism. All the comments, both positive and negative, we take to heart, and we always try and come out the backside better today than we were yesterday.
Yeah, and we don't take lightly the privilege that we have to do what we do, and we just really consider it a great honor to be entrusted in this community. We know it's really competitive, and really people who are involved in the racing community are so passionate, as are we. And so we just really appreciate the trust that is given to us by our customers. So thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your teams and your projects. And so we are very, very grateful. Thank you.
And, hopefully, going into the future, we can, continue to meet expectations. We don't take customer service lightly. It's something that we really put a lot of emphasis on. And we're just excited to share with you guys where we've been to where we're going, and the steps in the process. We do ask for a little bit of grace because, the challenges that we have with growth, it's transparent to most people that don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And that's the way we try and keep it. But we're very, very busy with this next step in a chapter of our business.
Yeah.
So again, thank you guys. Thank you for watching this video. Just stay tuned. We'll continue to drop updates. We visit the property weekly, and we will start dropping those weekly videos to keep you guys updated on progress of our build.